Detective Roy Kincaid's morning began with a sneer. A black man in a plain gray hoodie stepped out of a black Tahoe at the Chevron station directly across from the Oak Ridge Police Department. Kincaid, a 17-year veteran whose worldview was carved in stone, saw a suspect, not a citizen. He whipped his cruiser across the intersection, blocking the only exit, and strode toward the figure with his hand already hovering over his weapon. "Hey, where'd you steal that ride?" Kincaid's voice cut through the quiet dawn like a blade. The man froze, hands rising slowly. Other customers stared in stunned silence. Kincaid's eyes glinted with that familiar, ugly satisfaction. Right across from his own station, in the one place he thought he was untouchable, he was about to teach someone a lesson. Little did he know the man he was humiliating was Dr. Marcus Ellison, the new chief of police who in less than 30 minutes was supposed to walk through the front doors of headquarters and take command of the entire department. If you're already mad, don't touch that skip button. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe button right now so this story reaches every single person who still thinks this only happens in movies. Let's dive in. Dr. Marcus Ellison had driven through the night from Chicago to make this moment deliberate. 47 years old, PhD from Howard, 23 years of street-level policing followed by a string of miracle turnarounds in precincts everyone else had written off. Homicide down 52% in Inglewood. Gun recoveries up 300% without a single officer-involved shooting. The mayor of Oak Ridge had begged him personally, on her knees some said, to take a department rotting from the inside. When the announcement dropped, the local Facebook groups lit up with the same tired slurs. Affirmative action hire. He'll have us hugging thugs. Ellison printed the worst comments, folded the pages into his pocket, and kept driving south. He picked the Chevron on Jefferson Avenue for one reason. It sat in plain view of every window on the east side of headquarters. He wanted the rank and file to see their new chief doing something human before they ever saw him in uniform. Pumping gas, buying coffee, nodding at strangers. No motorcade, no advance team, just a gray hoodie, faded jeans, and the gold chief's badge clipped inside his waistband where it had lived every day since the job allowed him to go plainclothes. He never expected the job to introduce itself with a forearm across his throat. Kincaid didn't work alone. Within 90 seconds, 3 more units screeched in, Reyes, Morrow, and Kim, all morning shift regulars who measured their worth by how many suspicious stops they could rack up before shift change. They moved like a pack that had hunted together for years. Ellison finished filling the tank, replaced the nozzle, and turned to find 4 guns angled at his chest. "Hands, now." Ellison raised them empty and slow. Kincaid snatched the license, squinted, then smirked. "Marcus Ellison, Illinois? You lost, boy?" The slur landed exactly as intended. A white construction worker at Pump 3 winced. A teenage girl in a high school Letterman jacket started recording. Ellison's voice stayed level. "Officer, I'm legally parked on private property. I've committed no offense. May I ask the reason for the stop?" The question itself was an insult in Kincaid's world. Civilians didn't ask questions, they obeyed. Reyes circled the Tahoe, pressed his face to the tinted glass, then announced loudly, "I smell weed, definitely weed." The wind carried only gasoline and hot asphalt. Ellison exhaled once. "There is no marijuana in my vehicle, officer." Kincaid stepped closer, chest puffed. "You telling me how to do my job?" He nodded, the others moved in. They ordered him to the ground. Ellison lowered himself with the controlled grace of a man who had done this dance from the other side 1,000 times. The moment his knees touched pavement, Morrow drove a boot between his shoulder blades. Someone else wrenched his arm so high the sockets burned. A third knee pinned his neck. The asphalt was already scorching, skin blistered instantly. "Stop resisting!" Kincaid roared, though every phone in the growing crowd showed Ellison's body perfectly still. Blood trickled from his cheek where gravel had sliced it open. A mother covered her young son's eyes and whispered, "This is wrong." Then Kincaid's hand slid along Ellison's waistband searching for weapons, and froze. Cold metal. He yanked the hoodie up. Gold. 5-point star, shield number 1. The knee came off his neck like it had been electrified. Kincaid stumbled backward so fast he almost fell. Reyes let go of Ellison's wrist as if it were radioactive. Morrow's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Kim, the youngest, looked ready to vomit. Ellison rose. Blood streaked his face, hoodie torn and soaked with sweat and oil, but he stood like judgment itself. Sergeant Roy Kincaid, Officers Reyes, Morrow, and Kim. As of 800 hours this morning, I am Chief Marcus Ellison, your commanding officer. Kincaid's face went the color of old ash. His mouth worked soundlessly. Ellison turned slowly so every camera caught his next words. You just committed felony assault on a peace officer, deprivation of rights under color of law, false imprisonment, and filing a false report, all in front of 27 civilian phones and 4 gas station security cameras that I personally confirmed were working when I pulled in. He looked down at Kincaid, still half crouched on the ground. Stand up, Sergeant. Kincaid couldn't. Ellison pulled his phone, hit one button, and put it on speaker. Madam Mayor, it's Chief Ellison. I've been assaulted by 4 of my officers at the Chevron on Jefferson Avenue. I need state police here for immediate arrests and an ambulance for the injuries your department just inflicted on me. Tell the council the press conference starts in 45 minutes, with or without them. He ended the call. Then he looked straight into the nearest lens still rolling and spoke to the entire country. This is what happens when a department believes a black man in a hoodie can never be their boss. Remember this moment, because starting today, every one of you answers to the man you just put on the ground. By noon, the 4 officers were in state police custody, charged federally before the sun reached its peak. By nightfall, the videos had broken 100 million views. By the end of the week, the city voted 9-0 to dissolve the existing Internal Affairs Division and replace it with an independent civilian board granted full subpoena power, something they had rejected 17 times in the past 12 years. Chief Ellison refused the offered medical transport. He walked across the street to headquarters with blood still drying on his face, the torn gray hoodie flapping like a battle flag. He took the podium in the briefing room exactly 45 minutes after the assault. He never raised his voice. He simply placed the ruined hoodie on the table and said, "This is what some of you thought day one would look like. Let me be clear, it will never happen again." The old guard retired in waves. Some faced prison. Every new academy class now watches the unedited Chevron footage for 8 straight hours on their first day. Ellison kept the hoodie. It hangs in a locked glass case outside his office beside his diplomas and commendations. The plaque beneath it is only 7 words long. They judged the hoodie, I judged them. And every morning, when the sun comes up over Oak Ridge, officers on the east side of the building glance across the street at that Chevron station and remember one simple truth. The man pumping gas in the gray hoodie might just be the one who ends your career with a single sentence. How you treat him today decides whether you still have a badge tomorrow. That's the story the department tried to bury, but we just dug it up. If it made your blood boil, smash that like button. Comment the city this happened in if you know, or just type day one if you felt that twist in your soul. Subscribe and turn on the bell because tomorrow's story is even crazier. You do not want to miss it. I'll see you in the next one.